Greetings everyone, Nathan Nerdarchy here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, and today we are playing some Spelljammer. I'd like to introduce everybody. So, with me I have Nub Nub, or also known as Ben. He's from Puffin Forest. You can find Ben over on YouTube by searching Puffin Forest. He's playing the Boppy Druid, which is Nub Nub. I have Megan R. Miller, fiction author of the Chronicles of Drasul, 404 Killer Not Found, and more, available on Amazon. She is also a contributor over on Nerdarchy.com. She is playing Seercast. I also have with me Doug Vahovec. He is the Nerder-in-Chief over at Nerdarchy.com. He'll be a guide and games master tonight in the world of Endless Horizons Spelljammers. He also works on the Patreon rewards. And as I said, I am Nathan Nerdarch, and we are ready to go. So take it away, Doug.
All right, hey everybody, it's Nerder Doug from Nerdarchy for Nerds. Like Nate said, we are playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in a crazy Spelljammer universe of our own creation. As usual, we'll go over our house rules again. There's only a couple. Each character starts the session with inspiration, and they can use their inspiration to give me disadvantage on any of my Dungeon Mastery rolls. And we're using the From Hit Dice to Heroics alternate hit dice rules in the Nerdarchy store. So, last time, so you've left the downward view fromagerie, where you visited the blind monks who produce an exquisite cheese called Fromage de la Morte, a delicacy throughout the crystal spheres. The cheesemakers gave you a tour of the facility and took you out into the swamp to the grazing lands of the unusual beasts whose milk they use to make their cheese. Milking the creature was fraught with danger, but you managed to gather a bucket of Catoblepus milk. Back aboard Illrigger, the Viper ship chartered for your culinary expedition, you are headed back to Apathia's Haven, where you dropped off Ran, the spokesmanted of the hive you freed from the Plane of Sugar. Ran was going to try and find transportation for the hive so they could leave the planet Romania, where they exited the Plane of Sugar from. And so you awaken in your cabins. You've been traveling for a couple days. Actually, hold on, skip that because it was very specific, and he is not here. Sorry, I guess you missed a choice character moment. So, anyways, yes, you feel Illrigger drop out of travel speed, slowing as spell jamming vessels do when they near a large gravitational body. You have arrived at Apathia's Haven. It is a resort destination, aglow with dazzling lights contrasted by the darkness of wild space around you. It is a bizarre cluster of buildings and structures which share no common architectural style, but most interesting is the surface upon which they are built. An enormous whale drifts through wild space with Apathia's Haven upon its back. These space whales, or Kindori as they are called, has a vibrant moss kind of surrounding the cluster of buildings growing on its body. And the front of its head, unlike a whale, where a whale's mouth has a row of eyes. There's like 6 or 7 eyes. And as Illrigger approaches, you're taken aback by the size of the thing. It's not a miniature city on the back filled with tiny creatures, but a full human-sized village, for lack of a better term. This thing is just massive. Where are you guys on the ship as you're coming in to this giant space whale resort city?
I'm probably on the bow, like with the stick over my shoulders, just like gazing upon it.
You've traveled far.
And I am currently nervously scurrying around all the riggings of the Illrigger.
Okay.
Just getting... I'm worried this thing's going to eat us, like all of us at once. So I'm trying to get some combat advantage and information. I'm scouting as far as I can.
Make a perception check.
Oh, 24.
As you do, you're kind of looking out for danger too, and you notice that the whale has no mouth. It just appears to be a large whale-like body with just eyes and this city on top of its back. And I mean, it's enormous. Like it could, if it had a mouth, it could swallow your ship many times over. I mean, it's big.
Be wary. I don't see any mouth, but everything eats something.
Interesting.
If it is not a physical toll, then odds are very good, then it will be something more mental based.
Are you up on the deck as well, Sir Cass?
Yes, I'm calmly standing behind Nub Nub because I have accepted my impending demise. Like, it's gonna happen eventually, so.
You can make your choice Arcana or Nature check.
Let me see which of those is better. Oh, definitely Arcana. That would be 18 total.
Okay, so yeah, as you're contemplating this large space whale and what you, in light of what you just said too, you do kind of your thoughts lead you to think like this thing has a sort of kinship with you in that, you know, it without a mouth or anything, it must feed on just it must draw energy from the nothingness around it as it travels through space. It's not stationary, it's just kind of moving slowly through space. So perhaps it feeds on the lack of space that no one else can see.
I make this fond, chuffed little sound, and I'm like, this creature is one with the void.
Oh, it eats space? And I'm very confused, and so I go,
The air tastes a little stale. You've been traveling for a few days, and you know, as you've come to learn, the air does deplete over time. So it does have a little stale, but you know, with all the cooking and exotic ingredients aboard to it.
I've eaten a lot of strange things. That's the weirdest.
Yeah, now you've even tried air itself.
Mhm.
And Augustus is here. Can you hear us, Anthony?
We can't hear Anthony, but he's with us. He's with us in spirit.
Yes, he's oozing around on the ship somewhere.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know if you can hear us, but I was just going to tell you where you've been. But anyways, as the Illrigger approaches this thing, you see there is actually a port area with several ships there. Captain Lorne and whoever's on the helm right now brings it in. And as it pulls into its dock, Lagdouche, the Goliath first mate, disembarks to complete the docking arrangements. And he returns with a small stone disc, and he approaches Stan and gives it to him.
Oh, this reminds me of that stone disc that I got that vibrated and attracted those creatures. So I'm very wary about it, but I take it.
Okay, the stone does have a familiar sort of psychic resonance with you, and as you do take it, you hear Ran's voice in your head. Stone is imprinted with his thoughts, and it carries a message. Ran requests that you meet him at the Dark Star Lounge, he says. You know, you could probably find your way around there to there easily enough.
Take off.
He's in the crowd. And you do notice, like you know, you're here at the port, and there's you know, a few like dockside taverns and things like that. And there's just all kinds of different people, including, I mean, you see like you know, illithid, you know, walking about, going about their business. Ogres, you know, carrying cargo to and from ships and things like that, and the usual collection of humans, elves, and your typical friendlier sorts of races. Fitzroy also receives a missive as well. It seems your producers have arranged for him to meet with a writer from Food and Space Travel magazine, so he heads off to that meeting. And just to check real quick, Anthony, can you hear us? Okay, Anthony, can you hear us?
Can you turn on your mic, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
And Anthony, as the ship was coming into port, you had a moment. You stop and sort of in your cabin and pause for a moment. You get a strange sensation, and your vision sort of dims, and it's very, very strange. Never felt this sensation before, and you know, the cloudiness kind of goes away, and you find yourself looking up at the stars. The sky overhead is very clear. It's filled with bright points of light, and you actually see like colorful nebula swirling among the stars. You gaze across the sky, and your vision moves downward toward the horizon. But it appears the sky does not meet the horizon and instead continues all around you. And then you realize it's not the sky around you, but a reflection of the sky upon a slowly undulating sea. And your vision continues to travel downward, and you look to see that you are standing in this sea. And the liquid reaches up to your ankle, no, your shin. Wait, it's at your knee, your thigh, your waist. And you realize the liquid is not rising, but you are dissolving into it. The sensation is relieving as your bones, your flesh, and your form lose all consistency and flow outwards, swirling and mixing with liquid. And then you're just gone, and whatever you once were is now a part of this vast swell. And there are others in the liquid as well. You catch glimpses of faces, like half-remembered memories, people you knew, who you traveled with for a time before coming aboard Illrigger, and their faces look accusatory, but only for an instant before they just dissipate into the greater volume of liquid. And the warm jelly-like liquid continues to heave and draw more into it, other faces, and then the stars. And then they're no longer reflections on the sea, but their light dissolves and becomes a part of it, just like you did in the comforting embrace of ooze. And then you come to in your cabin. Lagdouche is not there. You check the hole in the wall leading to the helm room that you've managed to make over time. And you see Randall there, along with Krex, the halfling navigator.
I jiggle in ecstatic pleasure.
Outside your cabin door is a package from Yasminal Synad, who you've come to know as a gnome magician on the Illrigger's crew. It's just kind of wrapped in brown paper with a string tied around it.
On my doorstep?
Mm-hmm.
I will grab it and kind of like tuck it to myself and look around and make sure nobody saw that I had it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will crawl into a corner and start undoing the strings.
Sure. Yeah, and it's light and it's kind of, it's not like a firm thing. It's soft. And inside you find a complete outfit made of crocodile leather, including a pair of platform shoes that have thick, clear soles, inside of which appear to be a miniature terrarium with a tiny crocodile inside.
The horror.
There's a hat, wide brim, a jacket, pants, a vest, all of the crocodile leather.
A jacket? Are you sure it's not a cape?
Maybe a cape if you want, sure.
It's a cape with sleeve holes.
Yeah, and you can just kind of ooze into it.
Yeah.
Like, but you are bedecked in well-made crocodile skin suit, platform shoes if you like.
I don't know about the platform shoes.
You can leave those behind if you want, but they are available if you want.
They're a little rigid for me, but.
Somebody get this guy a walking stick.
So
Shillelagh.
you guys are, at the docks. You've received these missive. Fitzroy heads off to meet this food and space travel magazine writer. What would you like to do?
This is the resort town, right?
Yes, this is Apathia's Haven, which is built on the back of a Kandori, which is like a gargantuan space whale.
Whenever you say it, I think tandoori, which is like the oven, the clay oven things. I'm like, this would be very Ingest Quest, the giant flying tandoori oven.
Yes, it's an
The whole
option
place
for
is
tandoori.
red, covered in red powder.
Yeah. All right.
That is tandoori, right? Chicken's the one that's like bright red, right?
I don't know. I think so. I'm not super familiar with Indian food. We haven't done that episode yet, so I haven't done my research.
I talk to everybody and say, I've got a message from Ron. He wants us to show up with him in the Dark something.
Dark Star Lounge.
Dark Star.
Ron was one of your people, right?
Yeah, Ron.
One of the captured people. Yes.
Yeah, you had dropped him off here on the way to the fromagerie, and he was supposed to try to find some transportation for his people off there.
He sent us a message. We should be sending him messages. Like, you better cut those onions.
Why wouldn't you just bite them?
I see we are continuing association with the other prey creature.
What were you starting to say there, Ben?
Oh, it's just like, let's go.
All right, so you just head off into the crowd. Do you guys follow him or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I guess he knows where he's going.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ben, make a.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of go up a street and then down another street and up another street, down another street, kind of like looking around to see if I see it.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Don't worry, you guys. I'm good at that.
He's good at navigating the wilderness.
17, I got lucky.
He did. Yeah, it's not too long. I mean, there's a point where you're like, does he know where you're going, or is he just gonna, maybe just following the right wall and figuring at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Which you do pretty quickly. I mean, the town, the little resort town isn't too big. It's more clustered.
Maybe even then, it's like I'm not the one who finds it. I'm like, where could it be? And like a bus moves out of the way, and it's like Dark Star. It's like neon lights, like Dark Star Lounge, Dark Star Lounge.
Yes, that is exactly what happens.
I want to make sure we're all here, right? Except for Fitzroy?
Yep.
Okay, so before we fully head out, or maybe as we start walking, I'll say, without Fitzroy, our boss here, that means I'm in charge. You all should listen to when I say splorch, you better splorch it as hard as you can.
Okay.
I give you a withering look.
I just silently stare at you with my head tilted sideways.
I'm just like, okay, that sounds good.
All right, you guys this year.
And it was my idea that you lead on. Lead on. No.
All right.
All right. Well, the Dark Star Lounge, like Nub described, is very gaudy. It does have sort of like a continual flame-esque sign of like neon lights, more like a permanent fairy fire sort of color. It's a gaudy establishment. It's a round building, and it's festooned inside with clashing colors and patterns and like tapestries in a dizzying array. It's dimly lit. I mean, it is sort of like a laid-back lounge. The seating is arranged in tiers around a large hole in the center. That's probably, 20 foot diameter. Then there's a railed bar running around it.
This is very bright for something called dark.
No, it's actually dimly lit in there.
Well, I was thinking of the neon.
Oh,
and
the outside, yes.
all the outside and fairy fire.
Yes, the outside is very, very dazzling, but inside it's much more dim.
It would be unfortunate if people were unable to find this place.
Well, the other half of its name is Star, and those are real bright. Think about it, Stan. Come on.
These mammalian creatures don't have ways of scent marking their places.
I do.
Or a horrifying little creature.
So where were we supposed to be talking to someone? What does anyone remember the name?
Ron.
It's
Ron. Ron.
So is there only one other of me in there? Is it really easy to
make
pick
a
up?
perception check.
No.
Ron.
Yeah.
Shush, Nub, they'll notice us.
Yeah, I got 20 overall.
So you look around and there's an assortment of people, and at one of the tables on a higher tier, you spot a figure in like long flowing robes with blonde hair, seated with a handsome elven man with reddish hair and sort of a winsome smile. He's wearing purple and green robes with a gold trim, and you kind of catch your attention for a moment, and then you see as the blonde figure turns, it's actually Ran. And you spot his manted arms sort of, on the table, gesturing as he's talking. So it's like, imagine Stan or Ran or one of these manted people, but with like a blonde wig on and wearing like long robes, sitting up at a table with another.
That was a hard
I
spot
lean over to Stan, and I'm like, that is rather audacious.
I wonder if he thinks he's blending in right now.
I hope not.
So while Nubnub's looking around, I like kind of just like point his head towards where Ron is. Like,
all right.
Better not be trying to escape his lifetime.
You did, yes, and as you're calling out too, he sort of looks over and he's like, ah, he waves excitedly with two of his arms and is waving up.
I come over.
Sure. He's like, oh, Nub. He's like, I'm so happy to see you guys. I've had a great time here. He's like, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for my people. He's like, this is Waylack. And the man sort of gestures to you. He's like, kind of silent for a moment. He's like, we're getting married.
Oh, good for you two.
That was quick.
It has been a few days, but he's just like, look, my people have been in the plain of sugar for centuries, and he's like, this the freedom we have here, since you've freed us, is just, and Stan's example of just, living beyond the hive colony life. He's like, it's just wonderful. And he's like, I met Waylack here shortly after he's comes from a wealthy family. He actually said he could help arrange transportation for our people. And I see Ron kind of looking at him with a loving look.
Is that why you've decided to take this course of matrimony? Because he's wealthy?
No. He's like, we met up shortly after I got here, and we've just had the time of our lives. Enjoying Apathia's haven here. It's just wonderful. It's like, I've come a long way from the sugar mines.
So it's because he's fun?
Yeah, I mean, Waylack, he's just like, he kind of interjects and just explains that, like, yeah, I mean, he, had never met a creature like Ran before, and they just hit it off, and they've had a wonderful time. Been showing him around the city. His family's there sort of on a business getaway.
Forgive me for misunderstanding. Traditionally, my people devour their mates.
Yeah, Ron's like, that's what we did for a long time too. But he's just like, I've just every moment I've since we left the plane of sugar, he's like, I'm just discovering more and more about the universe and myself, and it's just like I don't have to follow the same ways as my people.
I start scratching my carapace nervously. I'm like,
I cock my head at Stan. Are you all right?
I say to her, I'm fine.
I want to lean over to Nub Nub.
Mm-hmm.
I whisper. I mean, after I look at the other two members of my party here, I reluctantly lean over to Nub Nub as my only maybe recourse on this one. Nub Nub, yeah, these insect people are weak-minded. I think they're being subjected to some kind of mind control, and someone's trying to steal our friends away from us.
Oh no!
We have to break up this marriage. It's the
All
only good thing we can do.
Oh, no.
Immediately, I cast Dispel Magic on one of them.
Really? All right.
You aren't gonna take my friend.
When he starts casting a spell, I slide 2 steps away from him.
How does that work exactly? Let's look it up.
Some people just want to watch the world burn or light it on fire.
All right, let's check it out. I don't have much experience with the spell magic, so let's see how that will play out.
Well, first of all, there has to be a spell happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of this. And then, huh?
Okay, so which creature are you
I'm going to be targeting Ron.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you feel as if there was any magical effect on him, it would be gone. And Waylax and both him and Ron kind of look at you quizzically, like, is something wrong?
And I go, oh no, nothing's wrong. And I'm like, this must be powerful magic. Or it's, my character would know when I cast that I would have dispelled magic.
Right.
And I'm like,
Unfortunately, my character
you did not feel any magic spell.
Marriage, the most insidious magic.
Yeah, it's the magic of the heart.
I'm just happy there's not a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
I need to ask more questions regarding this matter. I'm not entirely sure I understand, but
Sure.
like that, we can gloss that.
Yeah, you can have some drinks and stuff. A server comes by. It's a young human male. He'll take your drink order if you want anything.
One of the things I ask Ron is, where everyone can hear. So, what are some of the other people that? What are some of the other people that doing right now?
Oh, they were back on Armenia. He's like, yeah, I just, they just sent me. We couldn't fit everybody on Illrigger, so Captain Lorne thought, I might be able to find some help here. And he's like, I just found so much more. And he puts two of his hands on Waylack's arm.
All right. I just wanted to see if all the rest of them were running free and crazy yet.
Oh no, they might be. They were back on Armenia, waiting for Ran to secure transport for them.
All right.
Ran like a club, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so does he come to the parts about transport, or he just said he found it?
Yeah, Waylack, they have like a shipping company, his family, and they have ships to spare, and they're always going, to and fro through the verse, and they agreed, they would help him out. Sure. Yeah, I'm imagining you probably sit down and you're just chatting with these people, having drinks and so forth.
And what is the price going to be for this transportation?
Waylack sort of just kind of waves that away dismissively, and tells you not to worry about such things. And as you're talking and stuff, too, the dim lights in the place kind of get a little dimmer, and sort of everybody's kind of like around you, kind of like hushes for a moment, and you hear people like, "Oh, the show's gonna start," and all of a sudden, like music starts up. It's very jazzy, very upbeat, and from the pit in the center, a large spherical creature sort of floats up. You see that it has kind of stalks coming off of its central eye. It's a beholder, if anybody knows. If you don't, whatever. It's got a large central eye, but it starts singing in a sort of deep baritone voice, just kind of like trolling this jazzy tune. And as it does so, it's using various eye beams to make like dazzling lights and sort of move things around, props and things like that as it's performing. And while it's performing, and you've had a few drinks, and Waylack kind of leans over to you and he's like, to be honest, he's like, one of the most exciting things about this meeting for me is he's like, I'm so excited to meet you folks. He's like, this prestigious crew. He's like, I've read your reviews on Hark. He's like, I've been keeping up with press on your excursion, and he's like, he kind of looks sheepish. He's like, I would actually be honored if you would cater the affair.
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, it's not my decision to make. What do you think, boss? And I look to Augustus.
Let him have this.
Unbelievably, I seem to puff up a little bit. Of course we can cater the affair. It won't be cheap, but we'll give you great discounts. There'll be great discounts, the best discounts.
He's actually, it looks like he's just kind of like relieved that he was nervous to ask, and he's just like, oh.
We could have a flan bar and all kinds of jelly preserves, pudding for dessert and the kids.
Perhaps you should allow this esteemed couple to select their own menu.
I mean, I guess.
And Fitzroy would probably have to fit it into his schedule, correct?
Indeed.
Both Waylack and Ran, Ran turns away. He's like, what did I tell you? He's like, I told you they would have, they would just know exactly what to do. And Waylack's like, that does sound just wonderful. He's like, a selection of puddings and flans. He's like, yeah, that sounds great. He's like, there is one or two items that we do particularly like, and he kind of like looks over at Ran and winks. He's like, they have a somewhat rare ingredients, but he's like, if you could fit those onto the menu, that would be incredible.
Yeah, well, if it suits my artistic expression, sure, certainly.
Do go on. What are these items?
He's like, well, my great aunt Maylorn simply loves saffron risotto, and He's like, she, that's like her best dish, and she's an important part of my life, and I would just love it if you had that. And he's like, and we also, it's like the planet that we come from. There's one of our culture's favorite dishes is escargot. He's like, but not just any escargot. He's like, there's a certain breed of snail used to make this that is just unbelievable.
Oh man,
Snail sounds yummy.
I hope Doug's going where I think he's going.
Well, there's only one snail in the monster manual.
Oh.
All I was thinking, before you said that, all I was thinking was umber risotto.
That'd be a good time to write that down for eventual cookbook.
Umber risotto instead of.
Oh, gold dragon risotto is like one of my favorites. Like a yearly thing.
It's especially good when it's the ancient gold dragon.
Yeah, just grate a little scale in, right?
Yeah.
Just a smidge of orkwort sauce on the top. Magnifique.
Oh, that Tarrasque spice. That just, you just need a little bit.
Yeah.
That's taking a flavor down for sure. All right, so we need to go find some snails for escargot.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he need for the risotto again?
Actually, it tells you there's a.
Need for risotto?
No, it's Waylack is a male.
Oh, Waylack. Okay.
Yeah, it's his aunt, Maylorn, that likes the risotto. Yes, that actually is the moss and things that grow, the sort of like plant life that grows outside town on the Kandori's body. There's actually a area called the Great Garden on the underside of it that is tended by the keepers of the Great Garden, and you can get the saffron orchid there.
Yes, very well. That shouldn't be hard for an extremely powerful party of adventurers and do-gooders like ourselves. Yeah, no, we'd handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Look at some of them. We like to call those creature scrapings.
Yeah, you guys have become pretty proficient at turning monsters into food.
So if you can just give us a map to where that is, we'll toodle pip right along and get that stuff.
Yeah, and again, Ran is just like, I told you they would. He's like, he was so proud of himself that he, knew you guys and so happy.
I want to know what kind of. I'm really interested in Wayloon's general demeanor and outlook on both Ron and us.
Okay.
To my estimation, or at least where Augustus's brain goes, is that this person is an insidious individual who is trying to re-enslave this weak-minded race.
Okay.
And steal them from us, which is what I was trying to do. I was hoping to enslave us as well. So, so I'm trying to see, does it look like this person's putting on a show of like, oh yeah, I love you, you're great, and these people are going to mess up my plans. Let me go send them away. That's
okay. Sure. Make an insight check.
Okay. This is flat.
Classic insight check.
+0. 16.
As far as you can tell, he does seem to be genuinely interested in Ran. You pick up, sort of like as when Ron's talking, he's looking over at him, smiling and things like that. And he does seem impressed by you as well.
He doesn't shy away from the touch of this disgusting insect monster.
No.
All right.
Make an Arcana check.
That's only a 10.
Despite that, to somebody that is familiar with magic, Waylack, although he has the appearance of an elf, there is something a little more magical about his demeanor, otherworldly, perhaps.
Okay.
Illusion.
I'm gonna have words for Stan once we're out of earshot of this person.
Okay. Yeah. So is you can ask him whatever you want. Other than that, there's just the show, and you hear Waylack saying, he's like, that Chazzle Dazzle is just such a performer. He's like, I've seen him so many times.
I did want to ask if if this was any other campaign, everybody would be at least flabbergasted at a beholder. Does this not feel that weird in the world of Spelljammer? Or
No. I mean, it's I mean, it might be unusual that he's a lounge singer, but being a beholder's not instant terror.
Nub Nub, everything's pretty weird.
Yeah, there is that. But yeah, if you ask me, like Chazzle Dazzle, he's like, oh no, he's known. I mean, people travel here just to see his show. He's like, it's unbelievable.
One of the things I'd want to ask was Wayland?
Waylack.
Waylock. So, for the things that you trade around, do you trade anything like food items or things like that? Is that your major trade, or?
No, actually, they work in textiles. Is what they normally do, but they're
Excellent.
just a wealthy family and they enjoy fine food.
Textiles, you say?
Yes, he's
I-
like
Have
Okay.
been known to turn a knitting needle or two myself.
he looks kind of like his demeanor shifts to like maybe a little bit more like businessy minded, and he's just like, oh, really? Tell me about it. He's like, do you have do you have representation? What's your brand called?
Oh, it's nothing quite so expensive. I occasionally knit things for my friends.
I think several of you are wearing her stuff, right? I know Nub, you're wearing a
Yeah.
sweater, right? Does anybody else have anything? Remember?
Did you make me a scarf?
I
feel
did.
Yes, I'm wearing a scarf.
Oh, you're wearing it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you point that out that those are things that you've
I
made?
do.
I believe you rolled really high, so those are probably extraordinary things. And he turns to Stan and he's like, "May I?"
Scarf? Is
take
that
it
what
off.
we're calling that? Silk noose?
And he's kind of examining it for a moment, and he's like, "Wow, this material is fantastic." And he's kind of like tugging on it and looking very closely. And he's like, "Did you make this yourself?" He's like, I'm sorry if that's a rude question. He's like,
Oh, no, it's not. I did.
it's like, this is just as incredible. He's like, he's like, where did you say you were from again?
Insert planet name here. I didn't think of
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Don't do it.
Insert planet name. We'll do that later.
Circastia.
But yeah,
I
Is
would
there-
not advise going there. My people are not entirely at home to trade. I am a bit of an oddball, as it were.
it's like, well, we can all be oddballs at times. Like I've never heard of the place. He's like, if you're ever interested in any kind, expanding this into something more, he's like, please, I would love to have rights to trading this material. It's just fantastic. And he's
I'll
kind
bear
of
it in mind.
a sweater as well.
Poor Nub Nub.
And I points at you guys. This is like, you're a pretty sharp dresser yourself, there, friend.
Yeah, it's made out of an alligator we fought. It's very acid resistant.
Well, that's an excellent use of resources. Very economical.
Yeah, mainly my questioning deals with trying to figure out if he wants to dip everybody in herb butter sauce. And
Okay.
he's some kind of food trader and he's just going to eat our people or what?
Sure,
So-
you can make an insight check as well.
All right. That's probably not going to be that great.
Did you guys order food? Do you think you would have ordered food? I mean, you're sitting there for
Yeah.
probably an hour. or
Oh
so.
yeah. I
Yes,
would have.
we're foodies.
food,
This
yeah.
is what we do.
Yeah, as many curly fries as I can get them to bring to the table.
I got a 14.
They have endless curly fries at the Dark Star Lounge. So, they also have seasoned curly fries. If you want.
Of course. Yes, please.
Would you get 16, Stan?
14.
14. You get this, like you asked this, you get the sense that he is genuinely interested in Ran. You also notice that he only ate like a plate of vegetables and things like with like hummus.
Oh, he's a vegetarian?
You didn't see him eat any meat.
I ship it.
He'll never have the craving to eat him. That'll be great.
You know how they feel about bugs. different people qualify them as different things.
Protein resource.
Yeah.
Are your characters saying that?
Dark
No.
apocalypse world where all I can do is make cricket cakes.
What does Stan eat?
He usually eats meat, but
Okay.
he'll also eat vegetation and things.
Okay.
But
Unsurprisingly, anything.
he's not strictly carnivorous.
Okay, he's an omnivore.
Yeah. But usually he likes eating dead things rather than stuff that's been alive for a while.
Gotcha. All right. So, is there anything else that you wanted to speak to them about or try to discern? Until we...
I don't think so. I mostly want to head out into the town and see if we can find out any rumors about this person or information.
Okay. You can certainly do that. You might just kind of like, sort of feel out people and places that you might be able to find out information, like kind of ask around town sort of thing. Is that what
Yeah, kind of an ask around town to see does anybody know this person? Does Waylock come to town often?
Gotcha.
Does he leave with people often and they never heard from again? Has everybody,
Sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Make an investigation check.
Objection, leading the witness.
I mean, I realize that I did the insight before, so I think that they're genuine.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm still just wondering what
It's
I think
D&D,
they're genuine,
man.
they're not
Everybody's
I still think
suspicious.
there's something we're missing in regards to this whole interaction. Because the fact that they showed up and they fell in love and they want to like get married, I guess makes sense for Stan's wacky people, but I don't understand how it works that would work for an elf who has a
Does
really
it
long...
actually, though?
He's fey.
Like- No, I just want to put a pin in that, like, to ask Stan later.
Oh, sure. I definitely want to get Stan alone and question him.
Like-
How do you guys date?
wanna ask-
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you want to ask
No,
him
no,
about
seriously,
like,
though,
mental
valid
procreation?
questions.
He sprayed me in the face with his chemical, bath, and now I'm just in love. I mean, what can I do?
Do you guys ask Stan about mantid procreation?
Yes.
Like, give us the dirty deets.
Well, you see, when a mantid and another mantid love each other very much,
And they're attacked by mind flayers.
And then
their heads merge into one.
and then they eat the head.
Okay, no, seriously, though.
Well, Ron, I think, is exploring what it means to not be part of a mindless collective. I don't care for his interests, but I mean, shiny things and cool little baubles are amazing. I love collecting those. And I'm not interested in this whole getting together with somebody else and doing anything.
Gotcha.
So it's just a run thing. It's not a your people thing.
It seems to be. I don't understand what he's doing, but whatever.
And the wig.
I don't understand what he's doing, but whatever.
Oh, man.
I wear these, which is like your scarf and also a whole bunch of pouches and stuff, like leather organized pouches, because it facilitates what I desire to do. But I have no desire to do what he's doing.
So let me I wanted to straighten something out for myself here.
Sure.
Did we misgender Ron because Ron's name is Ron and that Ron is actually female and that's what the wig is for, is to kind of say, no, even though I'm a bug and you can't tell, I'm female?
I kind of looked at mantid as sort of genderless to some extent, and they just, especially being enslaved for centuries and things, they kind of just all they did was work, and he's just like, I don't know who I am. I'm just exploring all my options.
All right, well then let me
Exactly.
counter argument this to Stan a little bit, because from what I understand about Stan's background, this is Augustus's read on the situation. They're newly freed, right? And to my mind, they should be seeking independence, right? But I think thousands of years of enslavement to another person, they don't know what to do. So this Stan is immediately hitching his wagon to someone else so that he is less free. And Augustus would present marriage as emotional and sociological domination, right? So he's falling into this trap. And my concern is that the rest of the people we save are just as weak-willed and willing to follow and hive mind into whatever he's doing here. So this is my big concern on why I think it's odd that Stan would take off with a person he's just met.
Run.
Ron,
Stan
sorry,
is
Ron,
our
not
bug.
Stan.
Yes, Stan belongs to Ingest Quest.
Yeah.
Like, I would think if you were just free, you would try to be as free as possible, at least for a little while, unless you were like an addict going, trying to get
I need
back
to make
into
the
it.
Nobo roll to see if I fall into this trap of thinking, because, like, honestly, Circus has no reason not to believe you. Do you think a 16 is high enough to be skeptical about this? Like, knowing...
Is it versus my persuasion?
Do it. Roll your persuasion. Let's see.
Well, Circus, you are
yes,
quite different from your people.
I'm gonna spend my inspiration to give Eugestus advantage on that roll.
Yes.
Oh no, it's even one less than the last one. It was not meant to be.
All right. No, I know you pretty well at this point. I'm still a little bit iffy about this line of thinking. Maybe they're just in love and it's a beautiful thing, okay?
Well, I mean, Circus, you might be able to relate a little bit too. You are much different than your normal people. You've decided to go off. Might be able to relate on that level. And Stan as well. I mean, you've explored your individuality. You both come from species that are very sort of.
Yes, but I broke away from the hive mind and I've developed my own understanding of what's good.
Right.
So what Ron's doing looks completely alien to me because I don't understand any reason to do it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, to me, the perfect bug is what I'm doing. Everyone else
You're
is
at the bug
strange.
time. Gotcha.
I knew the psychological term for that. Is
Solipsism?
Stan secretly a narcissist? Is that what we're doing?
Or he's a solipsist.
Well, wait, what is it when you think everyone else is wrong all the time?
Oh, well, if
An
you're
asshole?
a narcissist, you think you're right.
Stan's an asshole.
Yeah. You just don't know because he would only be a pain to other bugs. Would think that. You guys probably just think, oh, well, he's just Stan.
Right, okay.
He's just a weird bug Stan.
Now you see they're all weird, man.
Yeah, they're all weird.
They're just
You know how some people keep, like, sheep for pets and, like, things that are traditionally considered food animals, like go into a house and somebody's got, like, a pet pig in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's not exactly on the level of how Circus sees Stan, but like you're my pig friend.
Rough. That's rough.
Hey, well, I haven't been
That'll be
eaten yet, so
fine,
that's good. You don't eat your house
but
pig,
you don't eat your pets. You don't
Yep.
eat your pets.
so that's good.
I don't know,
So you're
man.
saying-
You see, babe.
My survivability has just gone up.
Yeah, I think that was actually a weird way of a compliment.
It was a very backhanded compliment, but I'm a spider.
It made me feel safer, so that's okay.
Stan, are you just generally paranoid all the time that they want to eat you?
I consider it whenever I make a motion that
And you
they
can read
made
their
aside.
thoughts, too.
That they made aside. It's time to be eaten. And I'm curious. I mean, if Nub Nub didn't come back, there might have been some taste testing going on.
That's true.
Nub Nub would be okay with that.
Yeah, return to the earth and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Augustus, you can make an investigation check as you're trying to find out more about Waylocks around town.
Does anybody else want to
Do you want to aid him?
aid
Aid
me or-
another?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
What is aid another in 5th edition? Is it
You just
advantage
get
or-
the
Yeah,
advantage.
you just get advantage.
Yes.
It's +2 per person that ate now. The DC is
investigation?
37.
Hey, that's a skill, and I have it.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Oh, I'm so glad we're not playing 3-5.
much better.
What'd you get?
Assuming I have advantage, I got a 20.
Yeah, so you, casually, without drawing too, making it suspicious, sort of inquire about this mercantile elven family and find out they're actually Eladrin, that they have a very strong business built on fabrics and stuff that they bring from the Fey realm to this plane, and then a shipping. They own their own shipping that they are able to ship throughout the first. His last name is Gold, G-U-L-D, and it's the Gold Textiles LLC.
Oh no, they're Cardassians.
But yeah, they appear legit. And I mean, it's like a high-end, what do you call it, suppliers of like high-end silks and fabrics.
Okay, so nothing particularly insidious or odd about what they're doing.
I mean, a lot of people just think they're strange folk. I mean, they're Fae, so they do unusual things, and you know, their personal lives aren't always, you know,
All right, let's look at this stuff and play it out then, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, you know, this thing is you know, very large, but it's not so big that you couldn't just, you know, walk there. To the.
Were both things in the same place?
Actually didn't tell you anything about these snails, as I recall. You just. Well, I guess it is. I didn't think of that, actually. Sorry.
I could do a nature roll to think if I know anything about the snails.
Sure.
Lucky. Okay. That is, so the nature check, that is going to be a 9.
Okay, so, you know.
They're snails. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you want to see? Like, you see them in the ground, like you're walking on the ground, you see a snail. It's like that,
They
but
live in shells.
yeah, they live in shells.
Yeah, as far as you know, I mean, yeah, they just like, they enjoy the delicacy of escargot, but you know, you would know that there are different kinds of snails.
Yeah, when I go out there, I'm probably gonna have to talk around, ask some of the animals, and be like, "Oh, hey, did you guys see a snail? Like, we're looking for a big, like, you know, a snail, like a special snail."
Investigation to look for a giant snail trail.
Sure, go for it, man.
That was mostly a joke, but I'm gonna roll it anyway. Because you didn't say no. Oh God. 23.
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, as you so I suppose maybe you just, as you were making your way towards the deep garden, you're just kind of like keeping an eye out for signs of that too.
And I'm just assuming it's going to be something giant because everything we've fought so far has been something giant. Why would this be any different? That is my logic here.
You know, if Doug threw us a real curveball and has attacked by some kind of swarm of normal-sized snails.
I'm really hoping that's what happens, actually.
Let's see. How do we want to do this? I'm actually not sure. Let me put a pin in that and get back to you. I don't want to hold up the stream. But you did roll really good.
Like, no, I mean, it was a really stupid roll.
No, I mean, I don't want to leave you hanging. I just kind of ran into a brain fart there, so we'll circle back around.
These things happen.
Sure. But you do actually make your way to the deep garden, which is where the risotto orchid, the saffron orchids, would be kept by the keepers there. And this is like a huge kind of like you know, like there's moss and other plant life that are growing on this Kandori's body, but you know, it's just kind of wild and doesn't, you know, just kind of grows in patches. But this area seems much better tended. There's, you know, like leafier, larger plant life here and things like that. As you approach, and there's like, you know, kind of sort of topiary that they've shaped to be like an entranceway to this. And make a perception check as you guys this area.
Well, luck had to run out at some point. I rolled a 4.
13.
All right.
I got a 5.
23.
Okay, so yeah, you're approaching this topiary and everything, and it looks very well tended and so forth. But Stan, you actually notice that some of the topiary is actually is not topiary at all. It's actually moving. It appears to be vegetation of a sort of humanoid form. They're small creatures, maybe like 3.5, 4 feet tall, that look like, they also have like viney arms and things, and they have like 2 spherical things on a head-like thing that are sort of like uneven, and they're sort of tending the other gardens here. And I also see nearby one of them, sort of like with that high roll, there's like a big mass of kind of thornier vines and stuff that's kind of like curled up, like a ball on the ground, sort of with like a head-like thing resting on 2 front paw-like things.
I point those 2 things out: the plant creatures as well as that thorny thing. That looks different than just regular stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as you guys approach, one of them sort of that had been like trimming some topiary.
Hi.
It sort of looks at you and just puts a hand up.
We're looking for a snail.
Kind of like cocks its head at you.
A snail? Do you know where those are?
It just points back through the topiary gate and says, actually, and as it speaks, the other one that had been tending speaks into with it, and they say, "The great crocus."
Thank you. I go that direction.
Sure. So yeah.
As we walk past, I'm like, "Are we needing any kind of special tools to handle this situation? Maybe."
It just kind of looks at you and just points back and says, "Great crocus," along with the other one.
All right.
Make an insight check.
A what?
An insight check.
Insight check.
I figured we would just go and grab it.
Are these like Pokemon? Is that their name?
No.
Crocus.
Is that a Pokemon thing?
No.
They all they say is their name.
Yeah, they just say their name. That's
You can make an insight check also, Circus.
Ten.
Yeah. You don't really get any, it just seems like maybe that's the only word they know. Is great crocus. Yeah. So yeah, actually, as you head inside, there's actually like you see that like the vines and this well-tended greenery kind of grows around what looks like a large barnacle, I guess, for lack of a better term, on the Kandori. And being as immense creature, this barnacle is also equally, relatively immense. And there's actually kind of like a, bless you, like an opening inside of it, and you see several of these other things inside.
So this is where the snails and the fungus are. They're both in the same place. Is that?
No, this appears to be where the saffron thing is. Make a perception check. Yes. This.
Sure. That is a 11.
Okay. Yep. You just notice that the greenery kind of continues and grows along the inside of this barnacle as well. And Circus, you had been looking at too, and you do see kind of like an small iridescent trails, like on the ground, sort of glistening on the greenery that's there.
I point this out to Nub Nub first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I look to you, Gustus. I'm like, what do you think we should do, boss?
I'm much too busy with planning and long-term thoughts at the moment. This seems like a minor job for you. Now, why don't you take the lead on this wilderness expedition stuff?
Okay. So you walk inside, and do you have keen senses?
Keen senses? No, I do not.
Is that one of the okay? It is kind of sort of like hazy inside as you walk in. Inside this large barnacle, and I need you to make a wisdom save.
Okay. Okay, that is going to be a 21.
Okay, so yeah, you feel like there's sort of like this, this haze is sort of like what do you call it? Like pollen is all in the air, and it kind of like makes you crinkle your nose and stuff, and feels a
But
little
I
strange.
do notice that there's something like weird. Like, can I
Yeah.
let the other guys know there's something strange in the air? It's
Yeah, it feels tingly
seems
on your
dangerous.
bristly fur that hasn't all the way grown back yet.
Okay, I will. But it's dark in here, or kind of dark.
Yeah,
or it's-
there's no natural light source. There's
Okay.
just there's light coming in from the outside.
I am going to turn into a bat,
Okay,
and then I'm gonna fly around, kind of scouting it out.
sure. So as you do that, and there is towards the back wall, there's like a huge.
Also, I let them know beforehand that I turned into a bat, and I'm scouting it out.
Okay. Right. So you guys see him sort of whip the cloak of the bat around himself, and just he turns into a bat and is.
All right, he's got that cloak.
Yes. So yeah, you do scout around, and it's it's probably, I don't know, 40 feet diameter inside this barnacle, and there's plants and vines all around. But against the back wall, there is like a huge, thick, much thicker vine with like a big red orchid-like flower in the center, and you see like several like humanoid figures that appear to be like just sort of like tending it. What's the word for it? Like when just trimming like leaves off and things like that, and tending to it.
Horticulture.
Yeah, like when you just like make snippings and you just kind of someone's watering it and things like that. But they're just kind of like dull-eyed and just kind of going about their business, like like that. So, John, make a perception check also.
Okay. That is going to be a 9.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically what you see is this plant and these several like humanoid figures just sort of dully going about their tasks.
Okay, I fly back once I'm done kind of scouting out this area. I fly back out and I transform back to Nub Nub, and I'm like, there was a strange pollen, and when I smelled it, it had some kind of effect. And then I scouted around, and there's these humanoid figures tending to a plant. I don't know if we'll find what we're looking for in there. Oh, anyway, I'm going back in.
the fungus we're looking for
is a saffron orchid.
Saffron, right? Is this big flower saffron colored? Yellow?
Let me make a nature check. That is going to be a 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as you know, that's.
Yep, that's a plant.
So we need clippings of this thing.
So I go back in.
Okay.
And I go talk to the humanoids. I say, excuse me, we're interested in getting clippings of that particular plant. Would we be able to do that?
The one that you approach turns to you, and it just has like milky eyes as you walk up to it, and it kind of like looks up at the orchid, and then it looks at you, and it swings a pair of shears at you.
I dodge it.
Roll initiative? Question mark.
I dodge it. I dodge it. I dodge it. I dodge it.
You roll initiative, instantly dead. Snip.
It snips the silver cord connecting your soul to your body.
Get Yankee. No, I'm just kidding.
Yikes.
Plant Yankees.
Pull this up here.
Well, I have a
And
10.
Nub Nub's dead. Oh no, not again.
You were just mostly dead that other time.
Yeah.
That's like the third time this week.
Yeah. Okay, so roll initiative.
14.
Okay, it actually beat you. So it is swinging a pair of shears, basically just trying to stab you with it. And it's got to roll a hit. But it's a 18.
18, that is a hit.
All right, he's going to do 3 points of piercing damage. It just kind of like stabs these down towards you,
Okay.
into your shoulder. And were you guys like right at the entrance?
I go,
Yeah,
"Ah,
basically."
there's danger. People are attacking. I
Yeah,
need help.
so you hear Nub Nub shouting out.
Yeah, once he said he was going back in, I wanted to follow him, but
Oh, you want? Okay, so well, let's get initiative from everybody else. We'll do Nub Nub next, and then we'll add you guys in.
Got a 10.
Okay.
I have a 10 as well.
All right.
14.
Okay. So Nub Nub, it is your turn next, and you see that there's several other of these kind of milky-eyed automatonic sort of turning towards you, and it is your turn. One has just stabbed you in the shoulder with a pierce.
Okay. So my character, just from the inside, can kind of tell like they're under some kind of like mind control or something, or some. Does he know that, or can he make a roll to see like, okay, is it
Make a nature check.
okay?
And we're going to have to make
Lucky.
those saves, right?
That is a 13. Nature check.
They appear to not be alive.
All right. Well then, I turn
Oh.
into a bear. Or I shout out, "These people aren't alive. They're corpses." And I reanimate, or I not reanimate. I turn into I go.
Nub Nub turns into a necromancer, an undead bear.
Are you sure that you could be the spore one, right?
Yeah, right.
Come out of left field, but you never know.
Yeah. Touch
Yeah,
it,
go.
Nub.
I go bear form. I make one attack on this guy.
All right. His
That's
armor class
an
is
11.
9.
An 11 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. That is going to be 6 piercing damage for the bite.
Okay.
And then I have the claw attack. That is going to be an 11 to hit.
Mm-hmm. That
And
hits.
that is, I'm going to have to pull out my other die. That is 7 plus 4. That's an 11 damage.
Okay. So yeah, you bite and just kind of rake your claws across it, and it doesn't appear to flinch or feel the pain or anything, even though you open up huge wounds on it, and they don't really, it's not like blood spurts out or anything either. That's kind of just like controlled and sort of welling up in the hole that you've made. And next is Circas, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throws if you're moving inside the burn.
You know, I'm thinking I probably shouldn't.
Okay.
Um,
That's true. Nub Nub did mention something about a strange feeling he felt.
oh, I'm not gonna leave my friends
You're
hanging.
like, I'm out.
It's like strange feeling in there. Forget
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, this is too much.
6.
What was that for the save?
That was for the save.
Okay, so
Wait, I have inspiration. I'm re-rolling that.
okay,
21.
and then never mind. Yeah, you these kind of spore cloud floating around in the air is kind of dusting on your carapace, but it feels a little strange, but otherwise no big deal. You are in the room. You see one of these things engage with Nub Nub in bear form, and there's 3 other sort of like listless things that just sort of turn and start moving towards. I mean, they're turning with intent towards Nub Nub. It's your instinct.
Eldritch Blast.
Okay. You get 2 of them now, right? 2 beams come out.
Yep.
And our armor class is 9, so pretty easy to hit.
Okay, so yeah, I hit.
Okay.
It's 14. And then I need my D10.
Oh, that was the 10.
16 damage.
All right. So you can describe how your whatever your blast looks like blasts this thing asunder. It's up in Nub Nub's grill.
Like the 2 beams of light come out, like they spread out to either side and then converge on the thing, and it conflagrates for a moment before it like sort of dissolves.
Nice. All right, and that is what happens to that one. Stan, it is your turn. Unless there's anything else you want to do, Circas. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
So I ran in behind Nub Nub.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yes, yeah. And it had he said something earlier, that they were not alive and they were dead, and there was this fuzzy stuff flying around in the air, I would not have gone in.
He did say something about us about the feeling weird when he went in.
But now I have a base insectoid fear of a sporish thing that's going to infect me and create some kind of zombie insect out of me, like cordyceps style.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when they mentioned this to begin with. The second he said they're dead, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, and I'm like walking behind Nub Nub when he says they're dead. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Yeah, so my wisdom save, yeah, that's a massive 10. I think I'm going to use my inspiration for that roll.
Okay.
All right, 14.
Okay, yeah, same thing. Yeah, you feel a coating of this stuff on your carapace, but otherwise, other than a strange sensation, nothing big. So you're inside the barnacle.
Okay, are there any these creatures?
Yeah, there's
around?
3 other ones that were kind of like back against the back wall, just sort of like tending to this different, much larger leafy friend thing in the back.
Okay, I am going to move up to one of them. Is there any way I can like break line of sight from one of them?
Break line of sight. I'm not sure what you mean.
Like, from where they see me, can I hide behind something?
Oh, you mean like your rogue bonus action?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like closer to the entrance, there's sort of like thicker vines and bushes and things that are sort of like up against the walls.
Okay.
Inside of the barnacle. So yeah, you can do that.
So would it be reasonable to hide behind it and then kind of come out and attack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I rolled a 1 for their perception check, so nobody is noticing Stan.
Yeah, because I've got way over a 10. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So you dive into some topiary.
And then I come out and throw some stuff at people.
Gotcha.
So that'll be a 22 to hit.
That is. Yes, that definitely hits.
All right. That will be a 13 for damage.
Okay. And again, were you throwing like your throwaway daggers and stuff?
Yeah, my throwaway daggers.
Yeah, so it sticks, as they're kind of like shuffling forward, it sticks in the back of one, and it just, it might like lurch a little bit, but otherwise just sort of plaids ahead. And then it is Augustus's turn.
How many of these things do we see in the area?
3.
3 currently. Do we?
Mhm.
I'm too shy. I'm not entirely clear on the scale of the place. Is this place
Sure.
look big enough that there's probably like a lot more of these guys, or?
Sure, I'll further describe it for you. So yeah, it's like a large barnacle, except it's got like a big cracked open side. And when I say barnacle, I'm talking about like a barnacle on a creature that is several football fields in length.
Right.
So it's probably like 50 feet tall.
Okay.
Maybe like 30 or 40 feet in diameter. It's roughly circular. And
So it's
inside,
like the size of a barn.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a barnacle.
It's a barnacle.
And against the far wall, there's like a much larger plant mass with a big orchid in the center. That's where Nub Nub had gone back, and those things were in the back, sort of tending that particular plant. But there's
Okay, I want to get to the what looks like the main plant.
Okay. Sure. So as you head inside, you make a wisdom saving throw.
This will be good. Oh. This will be good. I actually did roll good. It is a 18.
Okay, yeah, same thing. A strange sensation.
This thing's growing like up the wall of something, right?
Yeah, it's like growing on the barnacle, and it's just like a much bigger mass of things with like a large yellow orchid frond in the center.
Okay, I want to take while I'm moving over there, I want to take an action to take my cloak off.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend a bonus action to use one of my class powers to like start producing like a viscous jelly around myself. It's gonna give me a climb speed.
Okay.
So I can try to climb up this thing when I get to it.
Sounds good. So that was your action and your movement?
Yeah, that's my whole turn. I don't have anybody to attack really, so I'm not going to worry.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So we're back up to the top where the 3 other creatures sort of continue moving towards Nub Nub.
Oh no.
What's their move? Oh, they can make it there. So yeah, they just have a variety of gardening tools and things like that. So what is your AC in bear form? It's like 14.
11.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, they're not. Yep, they managed to all three sort of like surround you and just start like stabbing with shears and the garden instruments. It's going to be a total of 20 points of piercing damage from 3 different attacks.
Ow.
Yikes.
And they're just kind of like all converged around you. And after they stab at you, they sort of like look up at the yellow flower expectantly. And it is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to turn to one of them, and I'm just going to bite and do the claws, just going to Fury. And so both of those are going to be a hit.
Mhm.
So that is going to be 8. Okay.
Did you want to attack the one with the dagger in its back first, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The one with the dagger in the. So one attack is coming at it for 12 points of damage.
All right.
And then the second attack is coming at it for 7 points of damage.
All right. So yeah, that one looks very savage. It's like, its jaw is kind of like hanging off where you've like torn at it and stuff, but it still appears to be standing and sort of like, even though you swiped it, sort of like looks back up at this yellow flower as it is. After it's done taking a beating from you. And then it is Circass's turn.
All right. Let us keep this Eldritch Blast train rolling.
Okay.
Oh no, I nat 1. And then Arlosh is going to Stellar Flare. So the creature makes a dexterity saving throw DC 13.
All right. It made it. Actually, it might have lower dex. Let me check. It did not. It actually has a minus to the dex, so it missed.
So that would be 13 damage.
And this is on the damaged one, or?
Yes.
All right. It is no more. I mean, it's what is that? Radiant damage?
It's half radiant, half fire.
Yeah, so you see the thing just kind of, I mean, there where it once stood, a Stan's dagger and a pile of ash fall to the floor.
Gonna give Arlosh some fin and fast turn.
Hi, Finn. Hi, Finn.
Yeah.
All right, Stan, it is your turn. And at the beginning of your turn, you actually see the fronds around this yellow orchid sort of like begin to quiver and sort of like bristle. Kind of moves around
Yeah,
a little bit.
we've seen them looking up at it, haven't we?
Mhm.
Makes me nervous. I will point that out to the rest of the party.
Sure. You guys follow Stan's direction. You see that.
Is there a
Keep
chance
looking
that
up at it, and the plant is moving.
is there a chance that the you said there's this like dusting in the air, right?
Mhm.
That this thing's giving off?
Yes.
Is there a chance that this is the ingredient that we need to collect? Is the dusting?
Make a.
Because at first you said fungus, so I got the impression we were going to be scraping off like chunks of something that was growing on something else. But if this is like saffron for rice, I could understand it being like the pollen of this thing or whatever.
Make a cooking utensils check.
A cooking utensils check.
If you don't have that, it'll just be straight intelligence.
That's fine.
I know how much you love those tool checks.
Listen, I'm a saucier, not a cook. Got a 19. I'm +1 intelligence.
They appear to be coming from the frond. Like you see, actually, as you look over and Stan does it, as it kind of ripples, you see that more of them have come out from it.
But does it look like the ingredient? I'm trying to determine if we need to try to be collecting this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. I mean, it's used in the preparation of it, but like saffron's actually the dried, the dried orchid.
Okay.
Chopped up.
So we need a more physical piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But you could try to collect some if you like. Never know. Give it that extra.
Right in my eyes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry, Stan. It was you called that out, and then what was next from Stan?
All right, I'm going to move up behind one of them.
Okay.
And attack.
All right.
Swing my grandfather's arm at it. Oh, that is a miss.
Okay. They do only have a 9 armor class.
Oh. I assumed it was higher.
No.
Let's see. That's still going to be a miss.
All right.
Use your inspiration.
I already used it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, everybody's using it this time. So I guess it is your turn now.
It's back to me?
Mhm.
So am I next to the stalk of this flower?
You use the rest of your movement to get up there this turn, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So when I get to it, I want to turn around to check on the rest of the party's combat, but I also want to splorch up against it so that the ooze kind of sucks me in it. And then I'll start backing up it basically.
So if I'm picturing this correct, you are backing up to the wall with a layer of slime on you, and then the slime's just sort of oozing up the wall and pulling you with it.
Yeah, I'm adhered to it, like a snail.
It's like a reverse wacky wall crawler going up the wall.
But for the purposes, since we're doing battle map here, how many of the things are left, and where are they in relation to, I guess, Stan and Nub Nub are the ones fighting in melee?
Yeah, so Nub Nub's in a bear form at the sort of base underneath the big flower. There's 2 of them around him, and then Stan rushed up and attacked one of them from behind while you were creeping up the wall here, and Circus in the room.
So my Eldritch Blast hits things adjacent to it. So is there a way that I could try to not fully clip my party?
Yeah, like you could shoot it down towards the two and not get. Yeah, I mean, there's
not splash too much on my party.
There is a space on the map, on the theoretical map, that you could do that.
Okay, so in that case, I will, since I'm not using really my hands to climb here, I'll give them the double torch beams.
And that splashes too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It does splash. So if the 2 zombie veggie guys are close to each other, I want to try to hit one and splash on the other, and then hit the other one and splash onto the other one.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so you can make it 2 attacks.
All right, so the I get a 16.
That hits.
And
the splash, is it like a dex save, or is it just?
Yeah, it was a dex save. I don't know if I just right now it's written as a dex save.
All right, well,
dex save or take a d6.
Yeah. One made it, one did not.
What's that?
One made it the save and one did not. So.
All right. Well, I only hit the one so far.
Okay.
So the one that I hit's going to take 9, and the other one made the save. He doesn't take the splash, and then they attack the other one, and I get a 15 on that.
That hits
for 7 damage, and then the one that I hit previously would make a dex save for the splash.
Okay. And how much is the splash? D6.
It's 2. I rolled a 2.
All right. So yeah, he splashed down some eldritch goo, and they both appear to be damaged by it.
Splish. Hit him with the scorch gun.
Then.
Because this is a deep cut. I won't get into it.
All right. So that where'd it go here? That big orchid frond that sort of we'll say activated, for lack of a better term. I need Stan, Nub Nub, and Augustus to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, I forgot about Moisty, who is going to fly.
Is he going to try to frighten it?
Huh?
Is he going to try to frighten it?
No, he's just going to fly up to see what's going on at the top of this thing.
Okay, make a perception check for Moisty.
Sure. He gets a 9.
Okay, and also make a wisdom saving throw for him as well.
All right, Moisty's wisdom
16
is a 18. Mine is also an 18.
Okay.
I got a
And
20.
that's- All right, and so that same kind of strange sensation from the fresh cloud of spores washes over you, but does not actually do anything here to you. And then the two mindless creatures are going to. One's going to turn around and try to whack at Stan. And that is a 13 to hit. Probably doesn't hit, right?
Does not.
And then one at Nub Nub, and that is a 15 to hit.
Yep, that's a hit.
All right. That's going to be 5 piercing damage.
So on my turn, I'm gonna. Which one was the? Are they both the same health, or is one?
They actually are. They both, the way it ended up, they both got equally damaged.
Okay. I turn to 1, and I'm going to roll my bite attack for
Okay.
or claws for 16 damage,
All right. That hits.
and then next attack is a hit with 10 points of damage for the bite.
That actually, check something real quick here. Six, yeah, so yeah, that one goes down under your Bear Fury as well.
Okay. And then I'm going to. Nope. That's it for me.
Okay. And then we're back to Circus.
All right, so there's the one left.
Yep. And the sort of big friend is sort of writhing around now. Seems to be very agitated.
Oh, blast. Oh, how did I not win twice in a row?
Yeah, put that one in dice jail.
Yep, let me make sure that Stellar Flare is not on our reach. I know it is not. But I think we're gonna Gravity Well instead. So that's DC 11 Dexterity saving throw from Arlash.
Hey, Megan, don't forget that at our level, Eldritch Blast is 2 attacks.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
You
it
get
gets
two Eldritch Blasts.
and he is stuck in place. So I believe
right,
that
well-
it makes him restrained, right?
Yes.
So your
Oh.
attacks would have advantage. Do you want to kind of retro that and say you did it? Arlash is
My
first.
second attack was a 17.
That hits.
Cool. 3 damage.
All right. And then Stan, it is your turn.
All right.
So this thing appears to be kind of like stuck in place. Like you see it trying to like move its feet, but it cannot.
All right. I'm actually going to ignore it because
Okay.
I think that plant thing is trying to kill us, or make us zombie insectoid servants or something.
You know
So-
what it's trying to do.
I need to stop it from doing whatever it's doing. It's
Doing whatever
wiggling. It must die.
nefarious homebrew thing I have cooked up for you.
So when it shivered and stuff, did it look like more pollen came out?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I will definitely want to stop that pollen from being around here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try and
It
hop
sort of
up
seemed
on
to
it.
like shake out from the big fronds of the orchid.
Okay.
And quivered in a second.
So I'm going to try and detach those fronds from whatever it's attached to on the wall. So I'm gonna
Okay,
climb.
so-
I'm gonna climb up there.
All right. And I believe, do you get advantage on your climb and athletics to climb because of your arms?
I don't think so, but
Oh,
I have a
all right.
grappling hook.
Okay, so yeah, you can make your athletics check to scale the wall.
15.
Yeah, so you manage to hook it into like a particularly thick vine, and as you do, it kind of like really starts quivering, and the remaining garden tender gets pretty agitated down there. But you can climb up. The big frond is probably about 20 feet up the wall, so you kind of like pass by Augustus, who's just hanging there between
right.
his turns, and you're right up in the thing's face.
Okay. I'm going to take one of my grandfather's arms and try and kind of like pry it off of the wall.
Okay, make a general dexterity check.
Okay. Ooh. That'll be a 24.
Okay, so yeah, you wedge it under there, and you almost, I don't want to say like it's a shriek, but it's kind of like really starts getting agitated, and like all the vines, that it's attached to start like quivering and things. And
I don't know if it helps, but I try not to breathe.
okay, well,
Like-
duly noted. You are holding your breath. And yeah, it's pretty stuck on the wall. It's actually like you get it up a little bit, and then you see it kind of like pulls back, but you got a really high roll, so it is sort of detaching, from the wall, but it's really giving you a hard time.
Okay.
Were you trying to get the whole thing, or just like a friend of it?
Whatever I can pry off.
Okay,
So-
make a damage roll for your weapon. Let's see.
Okay. Damage plus my mod would be 7.
Okay, so you do actually manage to get like one of these fronds off, and you see it's just kind of like the underside of it is just coated in this, like spore-like material. But you do sort of like get your thing in there, and like pops out of the little stamen that is connecting it to the rest of the viney mass, and it's
Okay.
probably like, I don't know, 3 feet long. I mean, it's a huge yellow frond that you have. And make a perception check while you're up there close to it too.
Sure. Ooh, okay, good. I've expertise in that. So it's 16.
So on the vines, like behind the frond where it was like sticking out from the wall, you see like several little snail-like things with like multicolored shells, sort of like sliming their way along the vines and things like that. And you look real close, and they actually have like little bulbous, like they have a bunch of different whatever those things are called, pseudopods at the end of their head. There's
Eye
like,
stalks?
are they eyes? Is that what it is on a snail?
Those
They're
are
eyes,
eyes, yeah.
Yeah, so like instead of 2, there's actually like 4 or 5 of them, and they're kind of just like ending in little, like kind of knobby ends to them.
Those look cute and yummy at the same time.
They do. You do think that they look cute and yummy.
I'm also gonna use my bonus action to wrap the scarf around my face. Hope that
Okay.
helps.
It just may.
Stan, is this plant trying to talk to us?
If by talk you mean beam crazy and eat us, maybe.
All right.
Not like brain talk.
Oh. No, not that I hear.
Did you try to reach out with your mind at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm afraid of it.
Sure, gotcha.
I'm
I guess
I'm trying to kill it before it kills us or turns us into mindless zombies.
that's a good strategy usually in D&D. I guess it is your turn, so you're pretty close to this thing as well, sort of slamming your way up the wall. You can easily make it up to the orchid.
Yeah, I want to get up on top of the orchid, basically.
Sure. Yeah, you're up there. You're at like the other side of, so it's like you slammed your way up, and then there's this big orchid, and then Stan is just on the other side, like prying fronds off this thing.
Okay, do I see the part that's producing the pollen, like that is likely the part that I want to use in this recipe?
Yep, it's like right up in your face. So you see what the Stan saw too, that the back side of these fronds just has like, is just coated in this pollen. And make a perception check while you're up there.
I only got an 8.
Yep. So yeah, you're kind of you're right face to face with your quarry, so to speak.
All right, I mean, I don't know what else to do here other than start trying to chop off a piece of what we need for this recipe. So I guess I get my little dagger out.
Sure.
Look
Make
around
a
backhanded, start sawing.
okay. Make a
Uh-oh,
We lost Doug
we lost Doug.
for just a little bit.
Is it back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, that's weird. It didn't even glitch or anything on my end. Yeah, so you could just make a dexterity check to sort of like deftly get your dagger in there.
19.
You do, and you can just roll your dagger damage.
Minimum 3.
So it's very like thick connection, like where the frond actually is stuck into the green part of the plant, and you're working at it, but it's proving a little difficult.
That's fine. I'll keep chewing away, and Moist will just keep an eye out for anything approaching, coming from the other areas, anything
Okay.
trying to enter the fray, as it were.
Sure. So the one remaining garden tender is going to take another swing at Num Nub. That's going to be a 10. That misses. And then the friend, as you're right up in there, sort of shivers again, and another coating of those spore stuff just kind of like explodes out all around. So I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw. Stan, you can make yours with advantage.
Woohoo.
Doug, can Moisty be flying high enough to avoid the
Sure.
cloud?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's sort of kind of.
That is a 9 for me.
A 9.
5.
14.
Wisdom, I got a 5.
Okay, so Stan, as you're up there, working at these fronds and everything, you sort of, you look over around the frond and you see that Augustus appears to be gone. And then you look down and Nub Nub is gone and Circus is gone. And as far as you guys, you actually, all of a sudden, the room looks much larger than it did before. And Augustus, you sort of like look over to where you're hanging on the wall, and this large plant now looks like the size of like a castle, sort of. Nub Nub, that mindless thing was swinging at you, and now you look up and in bear form, and like the little blades of grass on the ground appear to be like the size of trees.
I fucking love it, Doug. I love it.
So should Arlash have a separate save, or should I assume
Yes.
he's small too?
It's up to you. Do you want him to?
I'm gonna roll a separate save for Arlash because I kind of like the idea that his wisdom isn't any better than mine.
Yeah.
But
Megan, he's got to make it so that we can continue this adventure as Micron's riding on a.
yeah, because he's a baby spelljammer, so we can just get on him and like.
He'll be normal size to us.
16 for Arlash.
No, he did make it. So yeah, he's still normal size. But you are actually shrunk down, and Augustus in particular, as you're kind of like clung to the wall, those things that I described to Stan actually appear much larger to you now. They are probably twice your height now. And now the cute little different colored shells and waving eye stalks now look very dangerous to you as they're sort of waving at you and sort of swinging at the air.
Flailing about, one might say.
Yes. And Nub Nub, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna burn a spell slot to heal myself.
Okay.
1 health.
Oh no!
And I'm a bear. I'm tiny. What I am going to do is I'm gonna go over to my quarry, the zombie. I'm gonna crawl. I'm gonna run at him as a bear
Okay.
and start kind of crawling up his leg.
Split.
So, for the purposes of this, we'll say you are reduced, which means your attacks will basically just deal 1d4 less damage.
Okay.
And it can't do less than 1. So go for it, man.
All right.
Tiny bear bite.
Tiny bear bite. That is going to be.
Actually, what a bear's large, right? Well,
Yeah, bear is large.
we're bending the rules we're saying here.
Yeah, you can't use enlarge reduce. It doesn't get the effect you want. We've been made like fine size, I imagine.
That's 9 to hit. So that is going to deal. So I do 6 plus 4. That's 10 minus 1. That's 9 points of damage. Going for the jugular.
Okay, so relatively, his jugular would probably have been hundreds of feet away. So
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
So you bite him maybe in the back of the
Achilles.
knee. Yeah.
You just bit his knee off.
Yeah. Yeah, you just tear into that knee.
All right. And then going for the claws. That is a 10 to hit for. Okay. That's going to deal 12 points of damage. I rolled max, and then
Okay.
minus 4 for the thing. Anyway, so 12 points of damage.
All right, so yeah, you're savaging his knee, and it's pretty gross up close because it's like this undead flesh, and it's one thing when you're just swiping in the air, but you're like standing on it, like pulling
Yeah.
into the flesh with your bare claws. It's pretty gross.
That's real nasty.
And then Circus, it is your turn. So you were a tiny. You were probably halfway across the room. So even
Also,
though-
now I am a teddy bear.
yes, it's true.
I sigh and start to climb up between 2 like blades of grass and like Charlotte's Web this piece to explain what happened.
Okay. So yeah, you do still have your connection to Arlash too, I believe.
Yes,
Sure.
I let him know
Yeah.
what's going on and like get him close up to what's going. And I think Arlosh is probably gonna stellar flare if that thing that. Oh no, I don't want to do that. If he's, do I even know that he's tiny too though?
You don't see no. Well, I mean, you don't see much of anything. You could get on Arlash and have him fly you up there if you like.
That's probably a good idea.
So yeah,
Better
Arlash kind of dips his wing down, and you scuttle up onto it, and he sort of, is hovering, and you see.
Cool.
I mean, it looks really big, but you don't see Nub. You just see the. Actually, all you see
Oh.
is this Stan, and that's it.
Yeah,
Magic
then
Arlash ride.
'cause I don't know. I'm so sorry for this. I don't know, and so I can't act on the fact that you're like hanging on to this thing. So stellar flare,
Okay.
DC 13 Dex throw.
All right. So Nub make a Dexterity saving throw. DC is 13.
5.
And this thing made it. Oddly enough.
No. All right, so that's 14 damage for
Does it hit?
those who failed and 7 for those who passed.
Whoa!
All right, so I turn back into my nub form.
Mm-hmm. But you're tiny Nub.
Oh god, please tell me I didn't just kill you.
You killed me. No, just kidding.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine.
No, so yeah, radiant fire just sort of immolates this thing, and Nub is your as well. And you were kind of clinging into it with your bear claws, so now in your normal form, sort of like falling. I'll give you one. You can make a Dexterity saving throw. Maybe you can like jab your red stick and
Okay.
kind of stab your if you want.
Okay, 21 to not kill.
Yeah, so you take the red stick and just sort of like ride it down through one of the gaping wounds you made.
Yeah.
Sort of like hanging there.
How much damage does it take for that?
I'm gonna God of War this shit.
Quick, press X. Now press circle.
All right, so Stan, it is your turn. And
All
you,
right.
you did not shrink, right? You're normal.
I did not shrink.
Yeah.
But now I think I'm under mind control. Because I can't see anyone.
Ah,
It obviously has
no.
wiped them from my memory.
well, you just still have telepathy.
The pseudopod,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
feel it
that's true.
growing from my brain.
It's got me, guys.
Where'd everybody go?
You guys can answer him.
No, I can't hear anybody.
You guys still,
Yeah,
you
you
would
can-
hear Stan's voice in your head. Is that familiar chittering?
I mean, it's not. Is it in some way confusing that we've been shrunk? I mean, things that I saw were small before are now very large around me, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you still would hear. Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm saying, like, I'm not under like any kind of weird misconception.
No.
Either I was shrunk or everything else got really big.
yes.
Take care of Arlash. I'm gonna have to live in your pocket now.
Ooh. I haven't collected any of these before.
I've been shrunk.
So before I get shrunk, I'm going to try and continue to pry this plant thing off.
Okay, sure. So make another Dexterity check.
21.
Yeah, you've got this thing's number now. So if you want, you can roll your damage and add your sneak attack damage too.
Oh, sneak attack.
Getting its measure.
4 and 11 altogether.
All right.
Oh, actually, my sneak attack damage is a little better. So, 12.
12 total.
Yeah, 12 total.
Okay, so yeah, you severely damaged this thing, and you managed to get like several of the friends. You know, have like 3 or 4 of them just like slung over your shoulder, and it's looking very, it's just kind of like quivering. I mean, it's not like a sentient thing, but it doesn't have like an intelligence that you've detected, but it definitely appears.
It has feelings.
Defensive. I mean, it has, it knows that it's being destroyed slowly. I'm sort of concerned about that. Is there anything else you want to do while you're up there?
I'll kind of climb over it and look for, look at the area where Augustus was.
Sure.
I guess he's
make
still
a
got
perception
like that big glob of He'd be like in the middle of that big glob of sludge.
Yes, you would.
16.
Yeah, so you see that big glob of sludge on the thing, and you see like a tiny Augustus is actually like backing up on a vine as one of these, multicolored snails sort of is like oozing its way toward him on a vine, like you see him.
Yeah.
Off again.
So that's like really tiny. That's like what, like one of my nails, one of my
Yeah.
claw tips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to help him. I might rip him off by trying to get rid of the snail.
Well, do you want to try to? To you, it's it's just a tiny creature.
Okay.
Maybe
Sure, I'll try and pick it up and not kill you, Augustus.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, I am really good at that. 17.
All right, so yeah, you guessed this, and you're up next. By the way, as you're kind of like backing up against this giant thing, you see like, a huge claw just come out of the sky, and like it sounds almost like ear shattering to you as it just like clinks against its shell, and Carter, like you see it kind of like pull off the vine, leaving like a slimy trail behind it, and you kind of like. Takes a moment for your vision to focus, and you see like Stan's head looks like many dozens of times larger than it normal is.
I think at him. Collect those. We need them for the preparation.
All right, you hear that in your head, Stan,
Shake my head.
and it is
Yes.
falling hundreds of feet to the ground, relatively. I guess it is your turn.
Well, I'm currently a little worried about the power dynamic here, since Moisty is in the air and probably the size of a school bus compared to me.
Oh yeah, at least.
So this might be his one chance to get revenge.
Been waiting for this.
That said, how many of these snails are converging upon me?
That was the closest one. There's like 2 or 3 other of them like further on this vine, which is the equivalent now of probably 60 feet away is the closest one. Like had you been normal size, they're inches apart. But
Yeah. All right. So there's zero chance of me finishing my chopping through this with my now almost infinitesimally small dagger.
oh yeah, no, yeah, that friend is it's.
I don't know what else I can do here other than, boy, I wish I had some kind of salt beam.
We
I
haven't
guess
seen
I
that
just
guy
I'll just
yet.
blast these things from a distance and move away from them.
A salt beam.
Get away, snails!
Sodium rays.
There you go.
I'm sure there's a 3.5 spell like that. I'm literally sure there is.
Desiccating salt attack. All right, so that's just. I don't have anything too creative here other than Eldritch blasting things.
Okay, go for it, man.
So that's got the most range. All right, one Eldritch blast on one random thing. And you only got a 9.
You have a disadvantage on the attack roll.
Oh, okay. Well, between the 17 and the 9, the 9 will be the one that sucked. And then the second one is a 10. So I can't get the range on this thing.
Let's see. Oh, what they do? What does happen? Let's see. Ooh, you got lucky there, and the second blast you do actually like it does kind of miss it, but as it goes by its shell, you kind of see like the shell, the colorful shell, sort of like flash real quick, and it like sucks the Eldritch Blast into it, and then
Oh, wow.
a sort of bubble of destructive force goes out of it. Now you were pretty far away, but the other one nearby is not. And it fails its saving throw. So inadvertently, you hit the one behind the one that you were targeting, as its sort of shell sort of like sucks your magical energy into it and then expels it all around it, and you see the other one sort of like flung back a little bit by this explosive.
All right, and then assuming Moisty isn't trying to get me, I would like for him to come like dive bombing down onto some of these snails and just, I mean, these giant ooze, he's just going to try to dissolve one of them, basically.
Sure. So you can make an attack with advantage for Moisty. And he's just doing his regular Moisty attacks. And spells
Yeah, I mean, his attack is a bite, but essentially,
right.
He's like a giant amoeba. He just kind of engulfs it.
Yeah.
He gets a 23.
Yeah, he definitely does. So, you know, to you, it's like a giant amoeba just sort of like just a humongous cascade of slime, just sort of like just like splashing all over these things. You can make his damage attack. Now, to you, Stan, this just looks like, you know, you just heard like a little, and then you saw like little like flashes and things on the vine as you see little blasts coming from that.
Little sparkles.
Is Moisty invisible?
He was until he made the attack.
All right, so yeah, all of a sudden, like, kind of like pull your head back, Stan, is just a big blobby Moisty just like splashes himself on the vine.
It does 5 damage, and then they make a Constitution save against poison. Yeah.
All right. They're immune to poison, but they do take the damage. So yeah, you see their scintillating shell kind of like become duller as the sheen is washed off by this terrible planar acid that splashes all over it.
That's me. I'm good.
All right. And then we're down to the zombie. Let's see. What would he do? He's got Nub Nub. He's just going to kind of like swing his arm down towards Nub Nub. This thing from his leg.
15 to hit.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
I
no,
was
he's
just saying.
trying to hit you. Yeah, right. Nope, it misses. So you kind of like just maybe swing on your red stick out of the way, and it is your turn.
Okay, I will I will transform into a giant spider,
Okay.
and I will make a bite attack on it, and that is an 11 to hit. So it's going to do 8 piercing damage, and it has to give me a con save.
Rolled a 9.
A 9, so it failed. So it is going to take 10 poison damage.
All right.
Okay.
No, it's not immune to that. Wait. What is the right thing? No, yeah, it's not immune to that. Okay, so yeah, it kind of is injected by the thing. We'll say for the purposes of it, as you do the giant spider form, you are a giant spider.
Okay, gotcha.
And it does sort of go down, and then it just kind of like goes down to one knee, but it appears to have some kind of undead fortitude keeping it down.
Because the other thing is, it does say that with the poison, if it reduces it to 0 hit points, then it is paralyzed. If I don't know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so it does. Oh wait, no, it wouldn't, because it made it say so.
It does not go to 0. Okay.
Instead.
All right, that's fine. Yeah.
Right. And meanwhile, back up top, the thing is going to. Ooh.
I would also like to say that when I transform into a giant spider, I don't transform the vest that I have, so it's like Nub Nub's vest is still there as a spider.
Of course it is. And Stan, as you're sort of prying these things off too, which you don't notice is like some of the vines, or maybe you do notice this, connected to the main central orchid sort of start like trying to wrap themselves around you. What is your armor class?
16.
Okay, I rolled an 18, so they sort of like wrap around your carapace and you feel your mind actually seared with 13 points of psychic damage as it just sort of like coils around and attacks your mind. And and it is Sir Cass's turn, so you're astride Arlosh.
I have been given an excellent suggestion to attempt
to
AT-AT takedown with my web line from astride the baby Spelljammer. So I'm going to try to do that.
Absolutely.
What do I have to roll to try to do that?
Let's see, we'll use Arlosh's move to do it. And For your web, is there any mechanics attached to your web? I don't even remember.
I mean, like, it just gives me advantage on my climb checks and grapple checks.
Okay, so let's say you spend your action just furiously weaving web line as our lush flies around. So I'm gonna have it make I'm gonna make a strength check.
So Arlash make a strength check?
No, I'll use a DC based on, we'll say, your constitution, since it's like you're spinning this web for me, guys. So let's say it's, what's your con bonus?
0.
All right. And I got a 2. So you do. I mean, you spin this web around. Arlash is just flying in a circle around its legs as you're furiously spinning more web than you ever have at one time before. And you kind of pull its legs together, and it just tumbles to the ground. It sounds like a huge crash to you. You know, Nub Nub, you're still in spider form, but you're giant spider form, so you just see it all in front of you, and it appears to be down.
I feel like your race should have a racial ability that says, like, as long as you have one hand free, you're considered to be holding some amount of rope if you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you always have rope, and you always can be considered to be holding rope if you want to be.
It's just like you're like one of those magic tricks where you just keep pulling the scarf out, except it's high tensile web. All right, Stan, it is your turn. This thing is only has like 2 friends left. You managed it.
Okay. Are the tendrils grappling me, or are they just?
Yeah, they like wrapped around your legs where you were kind of like clinging to the side and your rope and everything. And it's kind of like they're tight, but it's actually like hurting your mind.
Okay, I'm going to try and punch it to death before it punches me to death, let's say. So I'm going to continue to try and pry the fronds off with my grandfather's arm.
All right, make your dex check.
17. Actually, that's
successful.
20. So, do I get my sneak attack as well?
You do.
Excellent. That'll be 13 damage.
All right, it has 1 remaining friend.
Okay.
And it is...
And can I use a bonus action to grab another snail from where Augustus is?
Sure. Yeah, make a sleight of hand check.
Okay. The 25.
Yeah, you do. You managed to grab the one that had been knocked back a little bit by that whatever was happening down on the vine.
And I'll stow it in my pocket.
Sure, you have 2 of them. And Augustus, it is your turn.
I'm trying to figure out how many of these snails we're going to need to cater a wedding. It seems like a lot more than we're dealing with right now.
Well, if we can get one to be big, just one. We just need one.
You do have enlarge.
I want to save it till after the fight.
Right.
I don't think enlarging myself would get me back to normal size, would it?
I don't know. Give it a try.
All right. I hit myself with an enlarge.
You do. You return to your normal size.
An unchuck.
Nice. Apache Chief reference. Tight. So yeah, you are a normal size.
All right, well, that was my action. I only really have a move and a bonus. I guess I'll try to scoop up some of them snails that are eyeballing me more.
Yeah, make a sleight of hand check. You can sort of coordinate with Moisty too. Maybe you can like stow them in his gelatinous body. You can just like throw them in.
Yeah.
As a preservative.
Why don't I grab Moisty and use him like a sponge for
yes, I love it.
For shells. Just, you know.
Yep. Totally.
Like a Swiffer. I got a 14 on the sleight.
Yeah, so you kind of just like put your hand inside Moisty's moist amoeba-like form and just kind of like rub them all around. And he's just sticking, he becomes lousy with the things.
I ShamWow him.
Yes, they're just kind of like all floating around inside his amoeba's body. He's probably looks a little bit indignant by this treatment.
Well, he should have took his angst out when he was giant.
Yeah, he missed his chance.
And see, we're going to come back around to the zombie, which is going to try to get to its feet. It's going to use half its movement to do that. And then It's just sort of like desperately flailing around with its legs still webbed up. It's gonna try to take a swing at the giant spider. And misses. It's just kind of flailing around madly, trying to hit you, but it cannot.
All right, I try and attack it back.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay, that is 10 to hit.
That hits.
The damage is 9.
And you just sink your mandibles into it or whatever it is that you do, pierce it with your spider claws, and it goes down, and it does not appear to try to get back up. Its fortitude has not prevailed.
Okay, so as far as my move, have we gotten turning over to the flower fight? Have we got what we needed? I'm looking around.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you
still
see
fighting up there.
You see Stan, he's got like 6 huge yellow friends like slung over his shoulder, and Augustus is kind of like holding Moisty, who's just like acting like a sack of liquid full of.
I think I'm gonna go over there and see if they need any help. So I kind of skitter up the wall.
Yeah, you can totally skitter right up that wall.
Okay, and I'm gonna be up there.
All right.
That is not me. That spider is a pretender. Except I say it in my squeaky voice.
You do see Nub Nub, the Nub Nub sweater.
That's right. That's how you know.
The spider's not as well dressed, for certain.
And Circus, it's your turn. So you're kind of cruising around on Arlash.
I'm just gonna fly over to where the rest of the party is and kind of hover.
Okay.
She's like this big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Arlash is normal size.
Oh, Arlash is normal size?
Yeah. Okay. And Stan, it's your turn. Then you got one friend left. Go for it, man. Yep. So yeah, you do. Got all your friends watching. You rolled a crit. Oh, nice. That is exactly how many hit points it had left. So you've just managed to, yep, had it written down right here. So yeah, you pop that last frond out, and all of a sudden, like all the vines that were like wrapped around your leg and everything sort of like shake and quiver, and then they just kind of like go limp. And
I hope we didn't kill the one source of this.
I don't know. We will have to find out next week, as we have gone over a little bit, and we will pick up next week and see what happens with the Great Crocus. So, as always, thanks to these awesome players for playing, and thanks for everybody watching and tuning in later. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Bye.